Alright, welcome back everybody. This is the Premier League Season 3. My name is Triumph Man and I will be casting Team Quantic versus Moscow 5. This is Game 2 in a best of 3 series. Quantic managing to pull a win in the second half of that match, just coming out from behind to drill down Moscow 5 and just capitalise on their mistakes very nicely. Some great team play there, but as it is, Moscow 5 looking for revenge. I should mention that the last time that these teams clashed, I believe it was Star Ladder, if memory serves me correctly, and Moscow 5 were the victors in that. So Quantic out for a bit of revenge. Also, of course, Quantic have had a bit of a roster shuffle-up, so don't be too hard on them if they seem to be slightly uncoordinated. It is for a good reason, obviously. Whenever a team has a roster shuffle-up, it is generally bad news for teams' coordination and cohesion. However, you know what? They did well last game. In the end, managed to salvage something that was a very shaky start there. Offensive trialing did not work out at all. Moscow 5, though, same bands this time around, Chen and Chantress. Their next ban was Enigma as well. We'll see if they decide to go with that. This time around, Quantic, they ban off the... Oh, okay. Darkseer was missed out this time around, and they said, you know what? Alright, we'll let Darkseer through. Moscow 5 decided to snap that up. They did decide to ban the Batrider as well as Linnea instead. Batrider is an interesting ban because it looks like Quantic decided, you know what, we're not going to pick him, so let's let you have him. Let's make sure you can't have him. Let's let you have Darkseer instead. This to me says Moscow 5, well, you know what, they decided, I don't even know if they really wanted the Darkseer that much. They just saw, well, you know what, they've let the Darkseer through. If we don't pick it, they're going to pick it, and they've got the double pick, so they'll pick Darkseer plus a huge combo hero, so might as well get it now, and then at the very least we'll have a nice suicide solo hero, a nice team fight oriented hero, but we'll see if they really get something to work with it. Double pick now for... Winbot City, I see what you're saying there. Quantic say, alright, we're going to pick up the Naga Siren. We're not going to let you have Darkseer and the Naga Siren. They could have, honestly, though, it was definitely possible. They could have gone, you can have Naga Siren, we'll pick Enigma and Tidehunter. That's a perfectly viable counter to Darkseer as well as the Naga Siren. But as it is, Quantic decided they wanted Siren. Now Rubik has been snapped up. Oh dear. Rubik has been picked up. This could be bad news. Rubik can, of course, steal that song with the Siren and counterattack with that. We've seen Dendy do it way too many times. The question is, can Moscow 5 do the same trick? Do they have the same speedy fingers? They pick up Sand King as well. I don't know. You know what, as counter initiation that could definitely be worse. As long as Sand King is like way out of the fight, starts channeling and doesn't get too close to the song. Obviously if he walks within range of the song, that's going to be nasty. But if you can channel Epicenter while Naga Siren's trying to set up the fight for the rest of her team and gets in there with a blink the Epicenter, even if he blinks straight into it, he's going to cause a serious mess. Jakiro, the second pick for Quantic though. They could definitely set up a hell of a macro power and ice path with that, so I see that. I definitely see the value in that pick there. They have a second pick now. I really could see something like a Tidehunter Enigma would be a fantastic pick to go with this lineup, as well as the fact that Naga Siren has some pretty decent split push. Enigma can quite easily lend a hand to the pushing potential as well. Jakiro obviously also pretty good at the push. Liquid Fire does damage towers. And just like DK, with his corrosive breath, it also helps damage towers. It is, once you get a couple of levels in Liquid Fire, it does chew down on towers pretty quickly. Winbot City, yeah, well, you know, they did buff. Like, I mean, it wasn't a minor buff for Jakiro, it was a pretty serious buff. In all honesty, before the change, Ice Path was bloody terrible. And just the fact that they've given him some more reliable CC now, that's all they needed. He just needed some reliable crowd control. And now that he has that, he's just so much more useful, because that's what the supports need. They need crowd control. They need some kind of reliable stun or some kind of reliable, helpful spell that they can use to set fights up. Even if it's nice little reliable slow. Jakiro though, his slow was not that great. It had a huge wind-up time on the cast time. It was just generally downright annoying to use. Ice Path, on the other hand, it's quick, it's long range, it's nasty as all hell, and it's a low cooldown to boot. That's why people love it. Quantic though, pretty nasty on the push lineup here. They've decided, they've got Jakiro, Naga Siren, Nature's Prophet, they've got a lot of push coming out. The bands continue, Moscow 5 say, let's get rid of the Keeper of the Light. They saw Quantic use it very effectively last match. Said, you know what, let's keep it away from them. And that could quite easily have contributed to the split push potential that Quantic were starting to pour out there. Enigma also being banned by Quantic, decided they didn't want to pick it up. And if they don't want to pick it up, well, they may as well keep it away from Moscow 5. Of course, Darkseer and Enigma, two very, very powerful heroes together. I'm just wondering if we will see a Tidehunter pop out this match. There is definitely the potential for it. Sand King could be a soft support, Darkseer Suicide Solo, or they could decide to throw Darkseer in the jungle, have a Tidehunter Suicide Solo. Plenty of different options they have available. Windrunner being banned, Lashrak being banned as well. Do not blame them there either. AoE plus Darkseer equals a mess. Shadow Shaman being banned by Moscow 5 as well. Okay, they definitely don't want Naga Siren being picked up. Shadow Shaman and Naga Siren also nice setup there. It just gives time for Shadow Shaman to walk in and ward trap someone. You ward trap someone, hex another guy, shackle another. That's just 3 people stuck out of the fight straight away. It is very, very painful to have that kind of CC thrown in your face. And then of course you can throw a net in as well.
Radiant team pick.
Radiant, though, it looks like Moscow 5, time for their 4th pick, and they pick up a support. So Crystal Maiden, Sand King, or Rubik actually, either of those 2 heroes. In fact, judging by the fact it's Moscow 5, I think in this case it's more likely that Rubik is the solo player. Will be a solo hero, will be the solo mid. In fact, Sand King and Crystal Maiden likely working together as the supports. Crystal Maiden being the primary support, and it looks like they are just waiting on picking up a farm-oriented hero. They have plenty of choices here. Wisp also being banned there. I should mention Quantic, the final ban there. But they have plenty of choices. They've got, well, basically Void, Anti-Mage, Morphling if they want it. The three big ones there, mostly the 2 big ones. Void and Anti-Mage, I think the most popular at the moment. Definitely Anti-Mage still.
Clinks.
And of course, Clinks. Here we go, another Korok run on Clinks.
Faceless Void.
And it will be Faceless Void, so they have some nice AoE there indeed. And I've got to say, that is a lot of nasty AoE. Vacuum, Void, and you might say one an Anti-Mage, he's obviously Mr. No Fun, but Faceless Void with Vacuum, Epicenter, that's a mess. That is a recipe for a mess right there, and Quantic are not going to enjoy that at all. So right now, this is the deal though. Moscow 5, they've set up for big team fights in the sort of mid to late game. They've set up for these really big team fights, even early game as well. Faceless Void can obviously get stuck in with his ultimate. But the deal is, though, Quantic, they've got a lot of split push. They can split up, harass a lot of lanes at once. And this worries me just for Moscow 5. They may be forced to split up to counter a lot of pushes around the map that they don't want to be fighting. Moscow 5's strength is going to be when they're balled up as a death ball. When they're 5, they will cause a lot of hell for Quantic when they're as 5. And they pick the Undying. That is definitely a left field pick. That is, wow. Did not see that one coming at all. Alright, well, the damage amp, again, the damage amp Naga Siren is just going to buy time to get Undying, get the Tombstone in a good spot, get set up with his ultimate, just get into position with everything. This is definitely going to be an interesting fight, but, you know, they picked the Naga. I think, honestly feel like they picked the Naga Siren less so because they wanted, and more just because they didn't want Naga Siren to be picked up with Darkseer than anything else. That is the feeling that I'm getting from this line. Is that, which mace is that, by the way? Not sure. Just looking to see if that was the one that replaced the stolen mace. Anyway, let's call out the players. So, playing on the Radiant side for Moscow 5, Nexus on Faceless Void, Solo on Crystal Maiden, Sedoi on the Darkseer, Dread playing the Rubik, and Stalliana on the Sand King. Actually, this could be a solo Sand King instead. Let me check Rubik's items. Those are relatively supportive items. Yeah, okay, so no, Sand King's going to be the farmer. He's got a shield there. And playing for the Dire side, Quantic, we have Painted Gold playing the Nature's Prophet, Korok playing Clinks, Jakiro being played by Lust, Fluff and Stuff on the Undying, and Universe playing Naga Siren. I am definitely, oh boy.
30 seconds.
The split push potential here from Quantic is quite good. Clinks obviously can push a tower quite easily by himself. Jakiro has some push potential. Naga Siren with her split push is also very annoying once she gets her Radiance done. And then naturally Nature's Jerk is always good at just basically wherever you're not, he is. Pushing a tower, just causing trouble, and forcing people to overreact and port around the map. It is definitely quite frustrating. That said, though, their team fight potential is honestly not as good as Moscow 5's. Moscow 5's team fight is AoE, 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 AoE. It's all over the show. It is a complete cluster bomb there. And Galaxy doing... Oh, right, he must have been hit by the... I just wondering what the hell... I was like, what are you doing up there? You're drunk. Get down from there, Naga Siren. But no, it must have been Dread there, picking him up there. And this is why we don't go near the roast against Rubik. This is supposedly a confirmed bug. That said, Valve has still done nothing about it, so take what you will from it. Naga Siren, you are drunk. Darkseer will be taking the Suicide Solo. No shocker there. He will be up against Painted Gold, playing the... Oh boy, look at the damage on Solo. Already getting slammed there. Needs to be careful if Solo is actually going to pop his health potion already. Clink's now getting stuck in there on Void as well. Just going to be farming up on top of that. He should be able to handle this lane okay until Solo gets a couple. Once Solo has a couple of levels, this may be a little difficult. Once he has the nukes to fight back with, for the moment, he's going to get harassed really hard by the auto attacks from Korok. In fact, Korok can actually attack through the Frostbite by manually casting Searing Arrows. That would be quite annoying. Just checking the farm there. Faceless Void is somewhat ahead getting somewhat ahead of Clinks by a couple of creepers. Though that said, he's got backup from last now. Frost, the Ice Path being used to hold off Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden actually not having her clarity getting knocked off just yet. Needs to make that happen. Now, Fluff and Stuff will be taking the Suicide Solo against... Actually, no, not Suicide Solo. I don't think it was meant to be Suicide Solo. It's just the fact that Galaxy is still stuck. This is, yeah, this is a bit of an issue here. I'm actually surprised that one of the things they could do is actually get Nature's Prophet to teleport a scroll up there for him, but they've decided not to. I mean, I'm actually surprised they haven't done that. Nature's Prophet could get her out of jail right now. They've decided not to. They said, "All right, screw it. You can just sit up there for being a fool and going near." I think this is possibly even just punishment. Just universe, you were a fool. You got near the Rubik. You knew there was a Rubik there, and you went. Not only did you go near Rubik, but you went near a damn cliff. Like that is actually, it is not easy to pull off. You actually need to step within that area to get stuck up there. And so you spent the first 2 minutes stuck in jail there. Teleporting out though, we'll finally get some experience. That is a bit of a blow, but he will catch up in the end. At the very least, Dirge has picked up some levels and experience. But he is definitely behind Sedoy at the moment. Currently sitting... It looks like Darkseid will get a strong... I think this may be a problem for the Dire side, just because they may underestimate the exact amount of farm that Darkseid is going to be getting. It looks like Clinks is actually going to dive in against Void. Void needs to be careful. Dirge actually somehow gets... the first blood against... What the hell? What? Okay, he came in from behind there. I was like, what the hell? How did he get that kill? But Crystal Maiden actually getting picked off there. I wasn't paying attention. I was actually watching Korok go for broke there on Nexus. You picked up Haze Rune. It's one of those things. Crystal Maiden very vulnerable. You get a Haze Rune or something, just run her down. There's not much you can do to escape from it. But they may be underestimating the exact amount of farm Darkseid is getting up here. And once you give Darkseid a lot of early farm, that's actually quite problematic. That said, though, Faceless Void is starting to fall behind. Just because Jakiro is here causing issues. Clinks is also going to be able to get a decent amount of farm. Galaxy now being chased back. They are giving him a bit of solo time with Void. Actually, no, Fluff and Stuff has returned to the lane. So I say they were giving him a little bit of solo time to catch up, but this has changed now. Let's see Darkseid moving up here, just going to try and jack the creep wave. Should be able to burn that down nice and easy. Last going to the top lane, to the top room just to check things out. Check the gold chart. And a slight advantage to the rating in terms of gold. Experience-wise as well, slight advantage to the rating. Not a huge deal. Last now, just starting to roam around. Looks like he's just saving up for those boots at the moment. Which, honestly, if he's going to continue roaming around, he does need them. Because at the moment, he is definitely very, very slow. Korok sitting on 14-2. The amount of harassment that he's copying, I mean, he's doing quite well. 14-2. Void only 14-1. As it looks like there is a bit of a gank down bottom. Burrow Strike goes in. Ice Path, great shot there. Stalliana goes down. Dual Breath though misses. They teleport out. I think they lack the stun to cancel. His Dread will escape. Teleports straight back to his lane. But at the very least they did pick off the Sand King. And like I said, that is exactly why they pick up Jakiro now. Just because he actually has reliable and really strong CC. Korok now being slammed again. He should be able to get away here unless Faceless Void procs a bash, in which case he probably would have died. Jakiro finding himself an illusion rune, teleport back in for the Sand King. Clinks though will need some regen shipped out to him pretty soon. And when's he coming on his bottle? In fact, believe his bottle. There we go. His bottle is being shipped out right now. Painted gold. 26-4, doing alright, but at the same time not doing as well as Darkseid. In this case, Darkseid has the upper hand in this lane. With a shield, he can shrug off a lot of the harass, and he has Ion Shell. Ion Shell does so much damage. Prophet cannot afford to come in. Nature's Wrath comes through, does some serious damage. However, Fluff and Stuff kicks up a killing spree in the bottom lane. As they get another kill, the Dread was not expecting that Nature's Wrath down there. They pick up 2 kills in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Korok barely escapes with life in mid, and Painted Gold gets picked off in the top lane. This is what I mean. Darkseid is so damn powerful. You cannot mess with the early game Iron Shell. There we go, Clinks is harassing once again. That Searing Arrows does so much damage. Nagasara doing a surprising amount of damage here, and of course, the Strength Staff there from Undying, quite painful. Now we've got the Arcane Boots being picked up by Undying. His killing spree is causing all sorts of hell. He's actually maxing out his strength. His decay though. He's actually going to max out the strength still. Not actually even bothering with the Soul Rip at the moment. Just checking farm at the moment. Korok's currently 16 and 4, struggling to get hit in farm. Darkseid now chasing after Panic Gold. Panic Gold actually defending himself. Great control there with his creep, defending himself with the Trance. And now he gets a sprout down. However, Darkseid just cuts his way free, surging out there. Darkseid doesn't quite get hit by the ice path. I've got to say, Panic Gold, great control from those treants there. Tree Puppets, meanwhile, on the bottom lane, looks like some revenge for Moscow 5. A double kill there, bringing down both the Naga Siren as well as the Dirge there, and also getting the Tombstone. It's a good 90 gold. That's nothing. That's not to be sniffed at. You get that a few times in the lane. It's a fair amount of money. Nature's Wrath coming through. Will it find the bottom lane? It does do a lot of damage to Stelliana. I think they're saying you should teleport down and fight him. I don't think you should. As it looks like Nature's Prophet again being run down. Sedoi getting another kill. Just cannot come anywhere near Ice Path. Dual Breath is ready. It's not going to do much damage. Only a level 1 surge away. Darkshift should be able to escape. Unless Painted Gold can show up. No, he won't be able to show up in time. Although Clinks is actually looking for the cutoff here. He's looking for the intercept. He's got a DD rune, and it looks like he does have one last surge left. And Clink's going to pop the DD, going to go for it. Searing Arrows, and DD needs to pop the DD. Doesn't pop the DD in time. And Clinks will have to walk away. I don't think he would have got the kill there regardless. Dirge is returning to the bottom lane here. It's Darkseid counting his lucky stars there, barely getting away. Meanwhile, mid, Clink's doing a bit of roaming around under a fair bit of pressure. Darkseid is now getting, Void and Darkseid are now really getting out of control. 37-9 for the Void, 44-0 for Darkseid, plus a bunch of kills. And now the ports in bottom. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a clash here. Universe as well as Dirge need to be careful. Nagasaran and Nerge need to be quite careful. 3v2 situation, not good odds for them. Although, do we have Song of the Siren is not up here. If they had Song of the Siren, obviously they'd be just fine. But as it is, they are in some serious trouble. The Burrow Strike in. They are going to go for Naga Siren. They're throwing in the Tombstone, but there's the Epicenter. The Telekinesis as well. A steal there. I think he got Tombstone. He did indeed pick up Tombstone there, and Dirge likely to fall. There is no escape. The Ion Shell does so much DPS. You throw in the zombies, and that's lights out. It's a zombie apocalypse everywhere from both sides. An easy kill indeed. I'm going to say, if they are going to if Nagasaran and Dirge are going to continue sitting in this lane, they do need to have some defensive wards thrown up there to watch their backside. Ice Path goes through it, misses though. Check the wrong direction. Taliana juke to the left instead. But they need the Dire. They need some wards down here. If they don't get some wards to watch this tower, these TP ganks are going to screw them every single time. Clinks now bottles himself a haste rune. Void is starting to get... Oh, his farm is not fantastic. The Ice Path's going to go through there at the moment. He is... Actually, no, I take that back. His farm is actually pretty good. 43 and 13. That's actually pretty damn good for 9 minutes in. Especially since he was up against the dual lane. 3k advantage at the moment. I'm just going to check the individual GPMs in a second. If I can find them. They're here somewhere. There we go. 300 flat GPM for Void, not terrible. Not awesome, but not terrible. It's pretty okay. It's fairly average right now. Solanair has rotated the top lane. Universe is up here as well. I think he's decided to pick the safety of the top lane. And Nature's Prophet working on his early items, looking for some early push / early ganking items in the form of a mech. Just helps him get more aggressive early on. Helps his team get aggressive. He can just pop in out of nowhere. If somebody needs a boost, he can jump in, help him out, mech him up, and turn a fight around. And now it looks like they're jumping on Universe again. They are all over his case. However, Song of the Siren this time. Does he have counter-attack? He's got a counter-attack. He's trying to bait them in. Are they going to chase him all the way? Looks like Dirge is trying to swing around from the left, wrap around. They are giving chase. It looks like they're going to back off, though. They realise some trouble's coming. Although Crystal Maiden does not. The Burrow Strike in again. She pops her ult. There is no cancel. They miss the Ice Path, and they get a kill there. Looks like they may trade for 2, although here comes Darkseid. Darkseid is making his case known. The Iron Shell is too strong. It will burn down Dirge, but not before it finishes off the Sand King. Now Void jumps in. Shakira gets killed as well. And that, in the end, a 3-for-2 trade, and Void throwing down his ult for God knows what reason. Just, you know what? I'm going to throw it down. I think he was looking for Clinks, but misses. Of course, that does his ultimate. The Chronosphere does reveal. However, in this case, it missed anyway. Net now on Dread. Can they get a bit of a counterattack running here? Now Clinks, they're going to throw in the counterattack on Dread. Dread likely to fall. Gets surged up. Not going to work, though. The damage on Korok. There's the mech healing Korok. Can Darkseid cut his way free? He's just going to try and teleport. They don't have the stun to cancel. He will escape. And right now, a complete bloodbath from both teams. Fighting non-stop. A double damage rune in the mid, though. On Void. Going to try and damage the tower. Not going to happen, though. They do shield it up with the glyph. And now it looks like, well, Quantic, they're going to push the top lane. There is a counterattack being masked, though, by Moscow 5. They are moving top. They should be able to handle this nicely. The port's coming, they need to be careful. Mech is on cooldown. Great Burrow Strike by Sand King. Channels the epicenter. This is bad news for Pig. Pig is dead. Universe, look at his teammates. They knew what was coming. They said, "Oh, right." As soon as they saw the Burrow Strike, they knew it was game over. Just legged it. And now again, this is a game of counterattacks. Now Moscow 5 mounting the counter-offensive and a very weak tower. That's an easy kill there. Free kill for Moscow 5. They will bring that one down nice and easy. Void now getting closer to his Battle Fury. Should have that by about the 15-16 minute mark. Ice Path in, misses though. Slight misjudgment there by Jakiro. Crystal Maiden. She's relatively exposed up there. This is about the last place you want to be as a squishy support hero, though. She does have Dread backing her up. Also, Dux is kind of close. But still, leading the charge like this, I guess would be, he has to be bait at this point in time. He doesn't want to be up front by himself like that. Naga Siren, Song of the Siren, still 30 seconds away.
Top tower is under attack.
Will they decide to gun for this? She's just going to come in, possibly, yeah, there we go, Riptide it away. And it looks like Pig is just going to, you know what, we can sneak in an early Roshan here. I don't know if they've been spotted. I don't think they have. At the moment, Spidey sense is not tingling for Moscow 5. Looks like they may just try and take a tower instead. Sedoi definitely look like he can manage that. Naga Siren can definitely bait this out. She has Song of the Siren up in 5 seconds. She won't be gankable. She also has a TP. With that TP, she is impossible pretty much to try and catch. Meanwhile, Fluff and Stuff, as well as Lust, are keeping themselves visible in mid. The main thing is when it comes to the Roshan attempts is you have to remain visible. Like, if everybody disappeared for a good minute or so, Moscow 5 would probably think something's up. But they can see 3 heroes, so they don't really suspect. They can see 3 heroes, and 2 of them can jungle. The 2 that are missing can jungle. They can go into, obviously Clink's can go on Death Pack stuff, and naturally Nature's Prophet. Everybody knows how he jungles. So if they see these 2 guys missing, they're not too alarmed by it. With the other 3 heroes sitting around thinking, yeah, those 2 are just jungling, and no wards up either. They had some wards up, but they didn't spot the pit. Moscow 5 now still putting pressure on the top tower, have a Naga Siren still here, and they can start TPing in to defend if necessary. Crystal Maiden opening up with a fully maxed out Frostbite. That makes sense. In this case, that makes perfect sense. They are up against the Clinks. If she was worried about and they have plenty of AoE already. If they were worried about AoE, she would have gone for the Crystal Nova first. See the damage that Lust is taking there from that Tramp with Iron Shell on it. Quite painful.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
In fact, yeah, that's the spell Rubik has at the moment. Now Crystal Maiden sneaking away in the trees. They're ready to counterattack. The ping is in the jungle. They know something's up there. Dux' mech also done and dusted. Who's carrying the Clinks is carrying the Aegis at the moment. Clinks picks off a Korok, Slayer of Donkeys. Picks up a 3rd courier, a 3rd flying courier. He's just all over the show here. Must have seen it coming back from mid and just gone, you know, I can snipe that. 175 gold for all my teammates. That's nearly a tower's worth. Their Song of the Siren. Galaxy just being a bit of a buzzkill. No, they're going to counter-attack with it. This could be devastating for Crystal Maiden. There we go. Throws out the Macropar. Ice Path hits Dread. The vacuum in, though. Massive counter-attack from Moscow 5. They pop the mech. Universe is dead. And Crystal Maiden pops her ult just because why not? And they steal the Song of the Siren as well. However, it doesn't matter. Rubik gets killed in the end there, but I'm going to say that was definitely a miscommunication. That the Macropar and the Ice Pass should have been the same target there. Unfortunately, they didn't do. Like, the idea of the Song of the Siren is just to lock down a couple of guys. The setup is, I think it was just because they were too slow. The setup is they should lock down 2 or more heroes in Macropar. If they do that, it's game over there. But as it was, they didn't manage that. They didn't get the stuns down in the Macropar, and they just didn't get the damage down. And in the end, also, the other thing was also that Naga Siren didn't immediately throw out another spell. She gave Rubik, that's the other thing, she should have had another spell on hand to throw out there. Gave Rubik, as it was, it didn't matter, but Rubik getting his hands on Song of the Siren could have been crippling as they pick off Clinks there. The vacuum inside the Chronosphere. A Burrow Strike through those, setting them up. Fluff and Stuff in serious trouble. Ice Path comes in, but Clinks has got the fire down. Can he take out Nexus? Inside the Macropar, Nexus gets taken out. Fantastic result there. But Stalliana is still up. And now it looks like a Burrow Strike in. They're going to try and take out Galaxy. Here it comes, the epicenter. Can they get rid of him? They bring down Universe, and Sand King blinks away at the last second. He can teleport out, and it looks like Nature's Prophet looking for Sedoi. They find Sedoi, although no, he doesn't have any mana left. I was going to say, they know he's up there too. Klink's also using Death Pact there on a tree. They look for the line of sight. Don't quite get it. Oh, that was close. Great play, but very, very close. A great turnaround, though. Quantic finding their feet there. Great counter-attack in the middle of that. They lost the Aegis, but at this point in time, that's okay. If it sets up a good fight for them, that's fine. And yes, Complexity are not playing. They are on hiatus. They do need a new team. I think they've got like one registered player at the moment. That's why Mitchell Makers replaced them in the Premier League Season 3. Faceless Void, though, getting very close to a Battle Fury. It is slightly delayed. That said, a 17-18 minute Battle Fury, nothing to be sniffed at, but he was on track for around about 15-minute Battle Fury earlier on. But as it is, he's doing okay still. So we'll just switch over to GPM. So he has picked that up a little bit, 60. He's increased the GPM by 60 since we last checked. However, Sedoi, he is definitely getting out of control. If he gets, at the moment, if he grabs himself, I think he could even afford to grab himself a, he's got a couple options. They could try and go, if they want to get tricky, they could try and go for a Veil of Discord, or they could just go for a tried and true Pipe. Pipe is definitely a fantastic item in just about any lineup here. And there definitely is a considerable amount of magical DPS in the form of Jakiro. And they have the setup. Normally I wouldn't rate it so much, but considering they have the setup in the form of Nagasara and Song and Siren, oh, there's some... Don't quite pick off Lust. It looked like they were getting close to it. Speaking of Pipe, though, that is something that the Dire side could do with quite badly. Obviously, Pipes and BKBs. BKBs first for the carry heroes. In fact, I would say Naga Siren, Klinks, and Nature's Prophet. They could get BKBs up and running. That would be incredibly beneficial. Like we saw last match, once they get those well-timed BKBs, it just completely turns fights around. And once that said, though, it will make them immune to Sand King at the very least. But that said, it's not going to help them against Faceless Void. But the main thing is, it will just stop Sand King, Rubik, Crystal Maiden, even Darkseid from doing serious damage to them. Even though they still will have the magic, the superior magic disabled in the form of the Chronosphere. At the very least, it will stop them from being vacuumed and the like into it. And now the push from Painted Goldie is just going to start threatening the top tower. They can get a split push happening, or they're not. They're actually just going to mass rush top. Do they have Song of the Siren up? They do have Song of the Siren up. They want to try and set up a fight with that. Naga Siren getting ready to swing in from the left. No, change in line. No, she is going to stay there. They're going to try and force a fight, and then Naga Siren will loop in from the side and try and set this up. It's not going to happen, though. Or will it? Burrow Strike on top of Klinks. Klinks is spotted, but here we go. The counter-attack for Naga Siren. Can she get this down? Doesn't pop the Song of the Siren. Gets stunned by the telekinesis. She's going to go down as well. She gets cleaned up. They get the kill on Crystal Maiden. The Burrow Strike through, though, on Fluff and stuff. Void leaps in now. And that was a terrible turnaround. They spotted up Klinks, got him with the dust, I believe it was. Void now popping his ultimate as well, trying to catch Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet will escape. He's just going to take out the tower, going to take out the tombstone, though, and nobody has apparently noticed the gem sitting there. Well, they have. The donkey will take that. However, how long he'll have it for, who knows? Klinks, Slayer of Donkeys, may make that his again in short order, but that was a terrible result for Quantic. They will need a good counter-attack now to clean up on that. Unfortunately, Naga Siren, she was unable. She honestly just should. As soon as she saw Klinks was in trouble, they should have popped Song of the Siren. Instead, she thought she'd wait, moved in, and then got hit. I'm pretty sure she got hit either by a Burrow Strike or a Telekinesis, and that just bought them enough time to focus fire Klinks and then turn it around on Naga Siren as well. Faceless Void, though, oh wow, he has finished up on that Battle Fury. The question is, what will he grab next? Will he decide just to will he get a defensive item next? I think he could do with a defensive item next. We'll see if he decides to pick up something like a BKB next, or even just, I don't know. The Burrow Strike through that. Korok likely to die. I don't think there's any escape. Picked up by Telekinesis as well. Iron Shot burning him down. There is no escape. Crystal Nova to finish him. 4v1. Not a lot he could do. But this is what happened last end. Klinks, Korok just started roaming around the enemy jungle, just sort of diving in between towers and stuff like that, looking for trouble. And in this case, he's found trouble, and a lot more of it. Before he was allowed to snipe heroes 1v1, just pick up heroes like Rasta by himself. In this game, Moscow 5, they're staying together a lot more, making sure he can't do those sorts of shenanigans. That said, he may have... Last match he got around about 25, 28 minutes Orchid, if I remember correctly. He is on track for that kind of Orchid again. He's very close to finish off his second Oblivion. In fact, he's only about 1,000 gold away from finishing his Orchid. So if he can pick that off, I think he needs to pick that up before he can start roaming around. The bigger issue, though, is this time around his opposing carry is getting a lot more fun, and he has combat items this time around. There we go, Mask of Madness. Mask of Madness and the Battle Fury, he is very, very combat effective, unlike Morphling from game number 1. This time around, Moscow 5 have a combat effective carry. He is definitely ready to go toe-to-toe with Clinks. He gets in there, puts Chronosphere down on Clinks, and then just starts slamming him with Mask of Madness and his bashes. That's going to be a bad result for Clinks. And he also, the other thing is, of course, Mask of Madness is a bit of a double-edged sword, of course, but this time around, he has lots and lots of stuns and CCs to protect him. He has the lockdown to protect him while he fights and uses that Mask of Madness. And in fact, if they can get that down, if they can lock down Universe before he can Song of the Siren, they could quite easily burst him down in this scenario. See, Void has... See here, Nagasiren is actually bulking up. Looks like she might be going for a hard burst. I feel like she should... Oh wow, the Radiance Courier again. Again, really? Korok, Slayer, that's 4. That's 2 per match so far. Korok, Slayer of Donkeys. He needs his own title. That's 4 couriers now. Just every time it comes past a ward, he just kills it. And I'm just wondering if he intercepted that or not. He may have actually intercepted that courier because that looked like it was going... That looked like it was going to Void, and Void doesn't have any new items. There we go. Orchid is pretty much... He needs 200 gold for the next robe, and then he's done. We see the issue is, of course, Void is farming well. This is the big problem. Void is farming extremely well. That said, if they can basically slow the game down and stall the fight with Painted Gold's split pushes, there is definitely still the possibility for Quantic to be in this. They are definitely by no means out of this fight. As we saw last match, never count them out. Nagasiren now picking up. Oh, okay, she might be going for Manta instead now. Has picked up an early Asher as well, but now Moscow 5 putting pressure on this bottom tower. Will there be a counter-attack here from Quantic, or will they sack this tower? I think they're just going to sacrifice it. In fact, they're pinging Roshan instead.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Dirge wandering around. This is a very ballsy play by Dirge. Mostly because he's by himself in the enemy territory and he knows that they're in position to cut him off. And in fact, it looks like Moscow 5, they're going to go for Roshan now. Looks like Quantic aren't going to counter. Quantic must know that they're in here unless they smoked in. Yeah, they can see him sitting up here now. They know something's up. They throw the ice path in. They're going to say, hello, we know you're in here. Do you want to stay, or are you going to back out? In fact, Nagasiren, where is she? She could go for a steal. She is, in fact, possibly waiting for the steal. She's going to scout it out now with her illusions. Check things out. Ice path also being thrown in there again. And Moscow 5, they need to be careful about this. They get harassed there by the Riptide. Meanwhile, it looks like they're just going to go for the split push. They're saying, you know what, if you want to bugger around with this Roshan, A, we're going to try and steal it. B, we're going to push your top racks. You need to cut this out right now. Moscow 5, looks like they're going to gun for it though. Void now getting hit by the Macro Pycles, going to town there. Gets hit though by some kind of... Oh, no, it's Song of the Siren trying to set up this fight. Do they have the follow-up? They don't have the follow-up. That was a huge waste, and the counter Song here. Nagasiren about to get focused down. That was a misplay by Quantic and a half. Although, that said, nothing comes out of it. Net gets thrown in there by Dread. And now they're going to go straight back in, but they can't steal now. This is the issue. They cannot steal. That said, Furion making his case known here. On the bottom, on the top tier tower. He is getting focus fired now. Throws down trees. He is getting slammed by Crystal Maiden. There was no escape for him. He will get cleaned up. And Roshan gets cleaned up. Void getting the Aegis there. Unfortunately, that Song of the Siren was a terrible one before, and it gives away a whole bunch of kills. Void now going to town. There's a double kill. He's going to try and make it 3. Sankey gets taken out, but he makes it 3. Korok also getting cleaned up. And that's 4 for 1 and an Aegis. That could not have gone any more pear-shaped. I'm going to say Quantic, they had the option to make something happen there, and they screwed it up. Big time. Big time there. That Song of the Siren, not a good one. Void now, Mask of Madness, oh wow, 3k in the bank as well. In fact, look at his GPM, 538 at the moment. He's starting to spiral out of control. Meanwhile, Nagasiren, 300. Definitely has not had the best of farms at the moment. Rubik now still carrying around his gem. He's able to do a lot of counter warding now. He's just going to try and gain map control. He's going to walk into Dread here, as it looks like the net's going to not come through there. I think this lost line of sight for a second. Looks like Furon showing up. There's the net. Going to pin down Dread. However, the counter-attack coming to the right side. Vacuums them in. Can we see a stun coming in? Looks like Fluff and stuff gets locked in. The Burrow Strike comes through. They're going to bring down Universe as well. Doesn't have Song of the Siren up for another 5 seconds. Ice Path to cover his retreat. Macropyre as well. Here's Void. They need the Song of the Siren or he's in trouble. No, he goes down before he can do so. And now the Ghost Sets are being popped there by Lust. Can he get the hell out? No, he's in some serious trouble. Pops down the Ice Path. Gets gangbanged 5v1. And Moscow 5 just spiraling out of control. It's just a series of errors, one after the other from Quantic, getting picked off one after the other. Great counter-attack there from Moscow 5. And they net themselves a whole bunch of kills and probably a tower at this rate. Mid tower should fall. Meanwhile, Painted Gold trying to defend the bottom lane as well as Clinks pushing the top. That said, Clinks has picked up its orc and he's got another 100,000 gold in the bank. Needs that BKB though, really needs that BKB. Sand also has, wow, Sand has also decided to splurge there. He's decided to pick up that, and the name has escaped me of course. It is one of the new items. Veil of Discord, that's what I'm looking for. Complete brain fart. Oh boy, I see some hate there for poor old Universe. Chat lighting up, of course. There are 2 minutes behind me, just seeing that Roshan engagement now. Black King Bar being finished up by Void, and this is definitely Trouble Town. Black King Bar, Aegis, Mask of Madness. Oh wow, he's even got a Yasha mixed in there just because. Yash is actually a really cost-effective item for a lot of agility carries. As it looks at Nature's Prophet, he's being shadowed here by Sand King. Stalliano getting ready to set up a fight. And there we go, he gets in the Burrow Strike. Here comes Dread as well. Can he get in force range? He 4 staffs in range, gonna throw her down. Ooh, no, he throws down the Telekinesis, however, Ice Path comes through to protect Painted Gold, and he will manage to back up safely. Moscow 5, they can see, of course, they do have the ward up here to see when trouble's coming. They said, you know what, let's just play it safe. There's no reason for us to go balls to the wall here. And there we go, look at that. Easy kill for... This is going to be a Void. If he catches somebody, this lights out them. He is doing 250... We're at about 250 damage at the moment. 250 damage, has an insane attack speed. And you throw on the bash there, it's just perma-bash, good night. No, nothing you can do about it. Meanwhile, Solo was just farming up. Looks like Solo was actually farming up for BKB to try and protect himself while he ults. Of course, Crystal Maiden now, big duration on her ultimate. And they don't, well they do actually. They don't have anything to interrupt it once she BKB. Veil gets thrown down there. And also Void is just going to tear his way through this tower once the glyph finishes up. And there is nothing, Quantic just cannot do anything about this at the moment. So these mid-racks will be taken out, no answer to it. However, we saw a comeback from Quantic last match. I don't think they can find the same though. Burrow Strike through Macropyre, just not even caring. Here comes Void, no ult though. Gets the bash down Fluff and stuff. Naga Siren Sleep gets thrown in though. Void managing to still pick up a kill. Void not giving a damn because he's magic immune. And that Song of the Siren does absolutely nothing. Mid-racks falls. And this is just, I think Naga Siren is definitely a force of the past. Nexus blinks in when Ice Path, doesn't care anyway, gets a kill on Jakiro anyway. And now they're chasing up to Naga Siren, vacuum back, Void looking for the bash, can he find it? He's got to walk up in 2 seconds, he may just gun for it, gonna go for Painted Gold instead. He's still got the leap up if he wants it, slamming Painted Gold, gets silenced by Korok, just said, you know, I don't give a damn. Korok narrowly avoiding being stunned, as Nexus now about to time leap in again, or will he just decide to back off? Gets mech'd up, it looks like they're just gonna back off, I think. Well, not, they're actually just going to continue pushing this bottom tower. Korok is still here, though. Nobody apparently packing a gem to keep him... Oh, actually, the only value of the gem, Dust gets popped there. The tombstone also being thrown out. I think they may just call it quits now. Ice Crystal Nova getting thrown in there. There's the ult from Void, and it looks like he's going to go for Fluff and Stuff's drilling through Fluff and Stuff health. And now it's Galaxy's turn to feel the wrath of Void. Void now leaping in on top of Universe. Universe goes down. Burrow Strike through on Lust. Lust is the next target, and a triple kill for Nexus. And Korok can do nothing but stand and watch his teammates get destroyed one by one. Nexus tearing them apart. A second racks here. This is looking pretty damn GG. Moscow 5 looking to take this to a third game. And it looks like we will be going overtime here. My kid, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I I would explain to him, it's when a gang starts banging on drums. That's my best explanation. Go for that. And this, yeah, it looks like Moscow 5, they're just going to push the mid-tier towers now. They're the 4th tier towers. There is nothing Quantic can do about this. This Void has just hit critical mass, and they just do not have an answer to it. Naga is so far under farm. Klink's also so far under farm. Just cannot compete. This is what Korok has been reduced to. Stand and watch. Nagasara now ulting. It is merely going to delay their demise, and this is where we go. They're going to try and set this up. Ice Path and Macrofire, and Void just BKBs. He does not give a damn. Crystal Maiden now popping a roll just to kill Fluff and Stuff. Fluff and Stuff gets bashed multiple times in that Crystal Freezing Fields. And now he's going to go to town Jakira. Jakira, though, shielding himself there with the Ghost Scepter. Burrow Strike through. Panic Gold is the next to fall. Ice Path gets thrown. The mech now from Panic Gold. Can they get another Burrow Strike in here? Easy kills here for Void. Left, right, and center. Time Walk again. Going to chase down Pig. Actually, he's not even caring. And this time, Dire's Throne is about to fall. No, wait a minute. They're deciding not to go for it. Will they change their mind? They're going to drag this one out. Never mind. They're going to kill Korok. They're saying, Korok, you've been out of this fight for too much. You need to die for it. Death Pacting. No escape. Even pops his ult just for good measure. And it looks like Moscow 5 are looking for revenge. Just going to farm some kills. The Ice Path goes through. Creeper just going to continue beating on this throne here. A Burrow Strike through misses. Only hits some illusions. And GG is called by Panic Gold. Quantic know they are outmatched this match. So it will be tied up 1-1 apiece. This is Triumphant Man casting Moscow 5 versus Quantic in the Premier League Season 3. Stay tuned. We have game number 3 coming up in about 5 minutes. There will be a short break while we move over to the next game. So feel free, go to the toilet, grab a snack, grab a drink, that sort of stuff. But otherwise, guys, we'll see you back here in about 5 minutes. Game number 3, Moscow 5 versus Quantic. Oh boy, this is going to be a cracker. Quantic taking the first match, but Moscow 5 fighting back in fine form this second match.